Welcome, friends, to our magical 30-day challenge. We are bringing you a new story every single day.
This is day 27. Like and subscribe to help us reach our 100,000 subscriber goal together. It was the height of summer, and the countryside was more beautiful than a painting, filled with golden wheat and green oats. Down by the old manor house, there was a deep moat surrounded by massive burdock leaves that grew taller than a man. It was a wild and tangled wilderness, so thick and deep that small children could easily get lost among the stems. Hidden deep within this jungle of green leaves sat a mother duck, patiently waiting on her nest for her eggs to hatch. She had been sitting there for a very long time, and she was getting quite tired of waiting, for no one came to visit her. The other ducks preferred swimming in the moat rather than sitting under a leaf to gossip with her. Finally, one sunny afternoon, she heard a delightful sound coming from beneath her feathers. Crack! Crack! One by one, the eggshells popped open, and tiny yellow heads poked out, blinking at the bright green world.
Peep! Peep! How big the world is! It is much bigger than Insil the egg. Oh, the world is much bigger than this. It stretches past the garden all the way to the parson's field.
The mother duck stood up to check her nest and saw that the very largest egg still lay there, uncracked and silent. An old duck came waddling by to visit and peered at the giant egg with a suspicious look in her eye.
That looks like a turkey egg to me. Leave it alone and go teach your other children how to swim.
No, I have sat here this long. I can sit a little longer. I want to see this one hatch too.
At last, the big egg cracked open, and out tumbled a large, clumsy, and very gray baby bird. The mother duck looked at him. He was not yellow and cute like the others, but large and strange.
He is terribly big and doesn't look like the others. But we shall see if he can swim.
The next day was bright and beautiful, and the mother duck led her whole family down to the water. Splash! She jumped into the water, and one by one, the little yellow ducklings dove in after her. The gray duckling jumped in too, paddling his feet perfectly and holding his head up high with natural grace.
Look how well he uses his legs. He is my own child after all. And he is actually quite handsome if you look closely.
She led them into the busy poultry yard to introduce them to the other animals of the farm. But the poultry yard was a terrible place. The other ducks stared at the new arrival and whispered mean things.
Look at that big ugly thing. We don't want him here. He takes up too much space.
A flying duck flew down and bit the poor gray duckling on the neck, making him squeak in pain.
Leave him alone. He is not doing any harm to anyone.
But the turkey cock, who was born with spurs and thought he was an emperor, puffed himself up like a ship under full sail. He gobbled loudly and turned red in the face, scaring the poor duckling so much he didn't know where to stand. The poor duckling was pecked, pushed, and teased by ducks and chickens alike because he looked so different.
Look at his feet. He's so clumsy. Get out of the way.
Nobody wants you here. You're so ugly.
Even his brothers and sisters grew mean, saying they wished the cat would catch him, and his mother sighed with worry. Feeling heartbroken and unwanted, the little duckling closed his eyes and ran away, flying clumsily over the garden fence. The little birds in the bushes flew up in fear as he landed with a heavy thump on the other side.
They are running away because I am so ugly. Even the wild birds are afraid of me.
He ran until he reached the great marsh where the wild ducks lived, and he lay there all night, tired and sorrowful. In the morning, the wild ducks flew up to inspect their new neighbor, looking at him with curiosity.
You are incredibly ugly, but that's okay with us, as long as you don't try to marry into our family.
The poor thing didn't want to marry anyone. He only wanted to lie in the reeds and drink some water. Suddenly, bang, bang! Gunshots rang out across the marsh, echoing like thunder through the quiet air. Hunters were surrounding the marsh. Blue smoke floated through the trees like dark clouds. A giant hunting dog splashed into the water, his tongue hanging out and his eyes glaring wildly. The dog thrust his nose right at the duckling, showed his sharp teeth, and then splashed away without biting.
Oh, thank heavens! I am so ugly that even the dog does not want to bite me.
He lay perfectly still in the reeds for hours until the sun set and the noise finally stopped. A terrible storm began to blow, so the duckling ran towards a tiny, crooked cottage to find shelter. The door was hanging off one hinge, leaving a crack just wide enough for a little duck to squeeze through. Inside lived an old woman with her cat, who she called Sunny, and her hen, who she called Chicky. The cat could arch his back and purr, and the hen could lay good eggs, so they were very proud. In the morning, they found the strange duckling. The cat began to purr loudly, and the hen began to cluck.
What is this? A prize. Now I shall have duck eggs if it isn't a drake. We must wait and see.
Honestly, it's hideous.
But the
Simply
duckling did
dreadful.
not lay eggs, and the hen and cat became very arrogant and rude.
Can you lay eggs? No? Then you should have the goodness to hold your tongue.
Can you arch your back and purr? No? Then your opinion is not needed here.
The duckling sat in the corner, feeling sad, until he felt a fresh breeze coming through the open door. He felt a sudden, strange desire to swim in the water, and he told the hen about his wish.
You are crazy! Ask the cat if he likes to swim. Ask our mistress! You are ungrateful for this warm room!
You do not understand me. I think I must go out into the wide world again.
And so the duckling left. He swam on the water and dived, but he was still ignored by every creature. Autumn came. The leaves in the forest turned yellow and brown, dancing in the wind. One evening, a flock of beautiful large birds appeared. They were dazzlingly white with long necks. They were swans. They uttered a strange cry, spread their magnificent wings, and flew away to warmer lands. The ugly duckling felt a strange sensation in his heart. He loved these birds more than anything he had ever known. Then the winter grew cold, so cold. The duckling had to swim in circles to keep the water from freezing. But every night, the hole in the ice became smaller and smaller, closing in on him. Finally, he was exhausted. He lay still, and the ice froze fast around him, trapping him in a cold prison. Early the next morning, a peasant walked by and saw the poor frozen bird trapped in the ice. He broke the ice with his wooden shoe and carried the bird home to his warm cottage. The children wanted to play with him, but the duckling was terrified and knocked over the milk pail in panic. Amidst the chaos and noise, he managed to escape through the open door and back into the freezing snow. It would be too sad to tell of all the hardship and cold the poor duckling suffered that long winter. But finally, the sun began to shine warmly again. The lark sang. Beautiful spring had arrived. The duckling shook his wings. They were stronger than before and carried him powerfully into the air. He flew until he landed in a magnificent garden full of apple trees and fragrant lilac bushes. From the thicket, 3 beautiful white swans came swimming towards him, rustling their feathers softly.
I will fly to them, these royal birds. They will kill me because I am so ugly.
He flew down into the water and swam towards the beautiful swans, bowing his head low in humility. But when he looked down at the clear water, he saw his own reflection for the first time in months. He was no longer a clumsy, dark gray bird. He was white with a long, graceful neck. He was a swan. The big swans swam around him and stroked him with their beaks, welcoming him to their flock. Some little children came running into the garden to feed the birds with bread and corn. They threw breadcrumbs and cake into the water, laughing as the magnificent birds swam closer. Suddenly, the youngest child pointed a finger and cried out in pure delight. Birds! Beautiful!
Look! There is a new one!
The other children clapped their hands and danced around, agreeing with the little one. Even the old swans bowed their heads before him, acknowledging his grace and beauty. He felt shy and hid his head under his wing, for he did not know what to do with so much praise. He was too happy, but not proud, for a good heart is never proud. He thought of how he had been persecuted and mocked.
Even now, the memory of their laughter echoes. It was a lonely...
And now he was called the most beautiful of all birds. The lilacs bent their branches down to him, offering their sweet scent as a gift. And the warm sun shone kindly on his white feathers. He rustled his feathers, shaking off the last of the old sorrow. He raised his slender neck, feeling the strength and beauty that was now his, and rejoiced from the depths of his heart.
This magic moment, shining bright and new, a dream awakened. I never dreamed of so much happiness when I was the Ugly Duckling.
He swam through the cool shadows of the stone bridge, enjoying the peace of the garden. Even the small creatures of the pond were no longer afraid of him. He nodded to the little frog, remembering how the hunting dog had once terrified him. The willow trees whispered secrets to him as he passed, trailing their long fingers in the water. His new family called to him, waiting for him to join their graceful procession. He took his place among them, no longer an outcast, but a cherished part of the flock. The sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the water in shades of gold and rose.
Goodbye, everyone. See you next time.
The children waved goodbye from the shore, their pockets empty of bread, but their hearts full of joy. Quiet twilight settled over the garden, and the fireflies came out to dance above the water. He slept peacefully on the calm water, dreaming not of cold and fear, but of sunlight and flight. When the morning mist cleared, the flock spread their great wings to take to the sky once more. He beat his wings strongly against the air, rising higher and higher into the fresh blue sky.
High above the world he knew, the swan looked down.
Below him lay the old poultry yard where he had been pecked and pushed and teased. He saw the turkey cock puffing himself up, but from the sky, the bully looked small and silly. He flew over the crooked cottage where the hen and cat sat, still arguing about who was cleverest. He felt no anger towards them, only a gentle pity, for they would never know the joy of flying. The flock descended towards a vast, crystal-clear mountain lake, their true summer home. He glided across the mirror-like water, surrounded by the beauty of the wild mountains. He was not alone in this wild paradise. A beautiful companion glided out from the reeds to meet him. They bowed their slender necks to one another, forming a perfect shape of love upon the water.
They swam side by side, two white clouds drifting across the mirror of the deep blue lake. As the sun began to set behind the mountains, the sky turned into a canvas of violet and gold. One by one, the stars came out to watch over them, reflecting like diamonds in the dark water. With the new morning came a fresh sense of peace. He groomed his beautiful white feathers with care. He watched a single old gray feather float away on the current, letting go of his painful past. He looked out at the world with kind eyes, knowing that beauty is not just about feathers, but about the heart. Together with his new friend, he swam towards the rainbow mist of the waterfall, ready for a new life. And so, the bird who was once an ugly duckling lived happily ever after as a beautiful royal swan.
Did you love this magical tale? Please like, share, and subscribe.
Friends do like and subscribe channel.